Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Mystic HillBillie Live, where I'm loving out loud in Leo season 2025, live in Leo season. Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another day. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but my rashes and stuff are not improving. So honestly, I really second guessed whether or not I wanted to sit out here today, and it feels like I think I'm allergic to the outside, you guys, because I've cut out so many things and the rashes are not stopping and they continue. I think I'm allergic to the outside. I think I'm going to move and start doing my lives in the office in the morning, which makes me so sad because I love being out here with the animals and stuff, but it just does not seem like my time. Goodness. All right, guys, today I woke up on 18 degrees Leo. Oh my goodness. And today is actually my marriage anniversary. Happy marriage anniversary to me and my beautiful wife, myself. I've been married to me now for 5 years. So I've been loving myself for 5 years, and that's true. Before I ever married myself, I hated myself. I hated my guts. I've hated myself for most of my life. I talked down to me. I'm mean to me. I've always been very, very mean to me. And I always thought that you have to hate yourself. Like, it's almost like a necessity to hate yourself. Like, you have to be a good person. If you want to be a good person, you have to hate yourself, because bad people love themselves. That's what bad people are. Bad people are people that love themselves. And I was absolutely convinced of that most of my life. And it did not serve me well at all. It did not serve me well at all. For the last 5 years, I've been loving myself and showing up for myself and being there for myself. And I don't know. I think it makes a big difference. I think it makes a big difference. Although I really do need to show up for myself about this stuff. Oh, what am I going to do if my face gets all, I don't know what I'll do. I will love myself. That's what I'll do. I'll find a way to love myself, So, yeah, the topic today is not necessarily a topic that I feel like I'm an expert on. The spiritual evolution topic, I feel like I'm an expert on, because I've studied that stuff in depth. So it's from age. You don't have to do anything to it. Relax. It's just YouTube. Hey, beautiful. Yeah, it is just YouTube. So it's not a big deal. I don't know what you mean by age. Like, this stuff is it's not age. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it is a rash. I don't think rashes come with age. I just wanted to say you're beautiful, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you so much, Mikey. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful for wonderful people like you out there. I'm so grateful for you guys. So yeah, the topic today is ego death, killing your ego. What do you guys think about killing your ego? Do we need to kill our ego? Is there a need to kill the ego? Sometimes I think so. And I don't know. What do we think about ego death? What do you guys think about that? And once your ego dies, what do you do? What do you do whenever you have a dead ego? How are you supposed to move forward? Are you more spiritual now? Does that make you ultra spiritual? If you can kill your ego, does that make you ultra spiritual? Sometimes I don't even have one. What's that like? What's it like to not have an ego? I would really like to know. What's it like to not have the ego? I mean, like I said yesterday, that was more my topic, my expertise type topic, spiritual evolution, even though I have a lot more to learn still, which makes me happy because I love learning. Ego and ego death. I don't know. I get confused with this topic because honestly, if you go on YouTube and you look at everything about an ego, you're going to get like contradictory stuff. Like people are very, very contradictory. So like, what is the ego, you know? and what does it mean to have one? I don't know. I don't know. For me, it's like the ego is just, it's a part of me. And if it dies, it feels like something resurrects in its place, you know? Like killing my ego has been like a really tough time for me because it feels like as soon as I kill my ego, another one is born. Plus, for me personally, I have a very spiritual ego, I guess you could say. Spiritualized ego. My ego thinks it's a spiritual master at times. So there's been times where I've thought that I've killed my ego, but I was working with a spiritual ego the whole dang time. It was just hidden. It was a hidden ego that I didn't kill at all. I like refreshed and renewed in a lot of ways. Me killing my personality ego gave my spiritual ego carte blanche to just run over everything and everyone. And, you know, I had to learn the hard way about, you know, the difficulties of having a spiritual ego. And I would say one of the difficulties of having a spiritual ego is having good relationships in your life. Your spiritual ego can definitely destroy good relationships. So why am I talking about my ego like it's a completely separate person? That's a very good question. That's a very good question. Honestly, I talk about all parts of myself as if they're a different person. My pronouns would be they, them. But I don't care about pronouns and I don't care about telling people to use my pronouns. So for me personally, I would talk about my ego as a separate person, just like I would talk about my mind as a separate person. My heart is a separate person. My, you know, my inner mother, my inner child, my inner father, all of them are separate to me personally, but honestly, they are all me. They're all me. So my ego is me. And so if my ego is me, does that mean to kill my ego would be to kill myself? Do I need to slit my wrist? Do I need to take a bunch of pills? YouTube's going to take me off if I keep talking about this, but is that how you destroy your ego? Because your ego is you, you know? Like, what is this? You know, like I try to wrap my head around it, try to understand this ego spirituality stuff. And I do know that there was a time where I thought that I'd done it. I've transcended and I've destroyed my ego, and now I'm more spiritual than everyone. Do you guys hear it? Can you hear it? I couldn't for a while. I had to learn the hard way. So yeah, our ego is there, and I think that our ego is meant to be of service to our heart. I think that's where I began to win in life, I guess you could say, is I quit trying to kill my ego, and I sat down with my ego and said, okay, what are you wanting to do here? Because it's like it wanted to keep me alive. So it wants to protect me. It wants to preserve me. And so I'm like, well, I guess there's a reason for that. I think, you know, I'm very spiritual, and if God gave us this ego, there must be a reason for it. But yeah, definitely humans, we can get to like inflate ourselves. We can get to an inflated sense of self, and it's not healthy and it's not good for other people. And I feel like that there's a balance with our ego that's needed, because too much ego is not good. Too little ego honestly empowers the ego in a weird way. So yeah, there's a need to really understand the parts of ourselves and integrate. Like I said, this is not my expertise areas. I'm trying to rely on you guys to help me out here, because yeah, I don't quite understand it. But I do know that for me personally, trying to kill the ego did not work. It backfired on me. It empowered my ego in ways that did not make my life worth living, if that makes sense. It destroyed my ability to have friendships and partnerships. And I thought that I was high and mighty, and it just, none of it was true. And that was from destroying my ego, what I thought was destroying my ego. So it is very possible that I did it all wrong. And that whenever spiritual teachers are talking about killing the ego, they're not talking about how I did it, that I did it so wrong that that's why I'm so confused and messed up with this. But there's also, I don't know, it led me to the spiritual instructors and teachers that taught about how to integrate the ego, how to work with the ego. I worked with parts work for a couple years with a couple different therapists, and that's why I would talk about my ego as if it's something outside of myself. I see myself as many parts that is me. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a need to integrate the ego. There's a need to work with the ego, and the ego should not be the one of service, but the ego should be at service to other parts of you, you know, especially your heart. Honestly, your ego needs to serve your heart. So if you're like me and you can't find a way to kill your ego, and every attempt to kill your ego just makes you worse of a person and it's just not working out, consider integrating the ego. Consider talking to the ego and integrating it and putting it to service of your heart, and having your heart and how your heart feels be the leader of where you move forward from. Speaking facts and showing my true self shows my ego, in your opinion. Okay, so my true self is my ego. I mean, I really do feel, honestly, today, like my ego's out. It's out and about, and it's showing itself. And I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing, but I think it could be a bad thing if it tried to run off without my heart. Does that make sense? Like, it should be out and about with the permission of my heart. And right now, my heart has permission for my ego to show, because we're trying to teach about the ego as best as we can. And honestly, you guys, teaching for me is the last step of learning, or it's a step in learning. So I feel like as I teach, I learn also. So I don't feel like I know everything at all. To me, ego is a distraction. Yeah, I could see that. The inflated ego, definitely, it's like a distraction from our life path. It's like, look at me over here, be concerned with this stuff over here. Don't worry about your life purpose or your life meaning. Just be distracted over here. I could see that, especially for me, when I had such a large, huge spiritual ego. It definitely, I feel, distracted me from my path and my purpose in a lot of ways. A lot of ways. Hello, Joanne Robinson. You're in JR? Junior? Oh, thank you so much, Joanne Robinson. Hello. All right, guys. So yeah, that's about all that I have about the ego today. Like I said, this is not my expertise area at all. I'm not even sure what the ego quite is, other than, you know, like the part of us that wants to protect and preserve us, but it can get inflated, and it's the inflated ego that I think is bad, not necessarily having the ego. And I also think that there's a way with Jungian, am I saying that right? Jungian philosophy, Carl Jung, his philosophy has a whole integrate your ego thing. So I feel like there is a way to integrate our ego where we don't have to kill it, but we can put it to service to our heart. But we might need to kill the grandiose version of it. That very well may be necessary. So I don't know, guys. Put in the comments what you think. I want to hear your thoughts. I love to hear people's thoughts, all kinds of theories about what the ego is and what the ego does for us. Can the ego serve us, or is the ego just an extension of us that needs to die? What do you guys think? I'd love to hear you guys. So that's all I have for you guys today. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to celebrate my marriage today. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. And I hope that you're able to commit to the love in your heart and to move forward with all the love in the world, because you all deserve it. Thank you all so much for being here for me, or being here with me today. Thank you all so much for showing up and for your wonderful comments. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow. And I do believe, I don't know what we're going to talk about tomorrow, so we'll see. I have it all written down. All right, guys. Until the next one, stay blessed with lots and lots of love.